Okay guys, it's time for an update. Last time you saw us, we got rid of the Mustang. Rick loved it, got it home, he's tickled pink, he's happy, and hope all you guys liked it out there too. So here's what's going on. The Mustang's gone. As you can see, the hoist, we've got Dan's 37 Ford ragtop back up on the hoist. It has been 6 weeks since it's been in here. The Pontiac, we kicked her outside, we put her on her cart, and we put her under cover, and we're going to leave the Pontiac alone for a couple weeks because that's how it is in the real world, and we're moving on. So we got Dan's 37 Ford back up top. We're going to get started on that tomorrow. Getting back into the rust repair that we've been doing. As you remember, we've done all the floors, the back pan across the back there. Also doing all the wheel tubs and behind the wheels, as you can see, up in those areas. So that is going to be going on tomorrow. We're working on that. Dr. Dave is working away on the Comet. He's getting all the body work done and finished up on the Comet. And that'll be soon ready for primer, hopefully by the end of this week. And then the owner is going to pick it up in primer, and then he's going to finish off, because you remember, he's building the race car out of this. So he's still got a bunch of welding and floor work and all that kind of stuff to do. So he's going to take it home with it in primer, and this way here, if he scratches it or puts a ding in it, at least the main thing is when it comes back we can repair it before we paint it the satin black. Now, a long time ago, over a year ago, I did a video on Mark. Mark has a little Chevy pickup. It's a, God, I forget the year now. Let's find out. Anyway, it was flat black. If you remember, it was flat black, if you guys remember this truck. And he sprayed it over the winter. He sprayed it with some green with white paint. Now, I don't know where he got the paint. I don't know if it's even automotive paint, but he picked up some paint. Could be trim clad for all I know. And there's absolutely nothing wrong with that. This is a truck, if I'm not mistaken, I think this was a 49. Let's look and see if we got Reggie in this old girl. And we do have Reggie. Let's take a look here. Let me take a look and see what it is. And it is a 49 Chevy. So there's a good glimpse of what's going on inside. Anyway, the reason he brought it to us is, you can see this door's got absolutely no glass. Last year, we did the driver's side door. We put the glass all in it. And, you know, door closes nice. This is something that, you know, I can't stress on enough. Here's a guy, if you look at this truck, it's not a show queen by no means. I mean, it looks nice here in the photos, and it is a cool little truck, you know, but I mean, the body's not perfect. He's having fun with it. He's doing everything himself. He's making it safe, though, even though he's doing a good job safety-wise. He's making sure it's good and safe, and everything's working good that way. And he's just having fun. And, you know, it's not no trailer queen. It's just a fun little truck. And, you know, he sprayed it out in his shop himself. And, you know, just some low-budget paint. And he's roughed in the bodywork the best he could. And this is what it's all about. This really is what it's all about. Now, for you new viewers out there, you'll have to go back to my old videos and look. Because like I said, I did a video around a year ago. And this truck was in here, and we did the driver's side window. But here's the kicker. For all you guys that don't remember this truck, or is new to them, that's right. Come on. What are you looking at there? I don't even have to tell you. You guys are watching this. You can know right away what you're looking at. He's got himself a little Ford in there. He's got a Mustang 2 clip under here, and he kept Ford running gear in here. I asked him why, and he said because, you know what? It was something he had. It was available. He had it there. May as well use it. You know, he is a Ford guy. He likes the Ford stuff. He likes Ford stuff. He likes Chevy stuff. He likes it all. But this is a guy that had a car at home that had a clip and a motor that was running good in it, and he was like, you know, and again, he's on a budget, and he was like, you know what? I'm going to take the clip out of that, put it in this truck, and put the motor in it, and away I go. So, and it's not too often you see a Ford motor in a Chevy. It's usually always reversed, Chevy and Ford. So, you know what? Some people may laugh and say, oh my God, what's with that? But, you know, there's absolutely nothing wrong with it whatsoever. He's doing what all the old timers used to do back in the day. He's using what is available to him at the, you know, that he can afford. And there's nothing wrong with that. So the truck is in here. Dave and I we got to get the door glass in the passenger side. He wants us to try and line the door up a little bit better. And the other thing we did was we put a sway bar on the front for him here today. So we got all that done. The sway bar, I should say, is done. Now, let's go over here. Colby's truck. You remember last time it was facing the other way. Well, as you can see this time, I've got the rocker panel. I've started cutting the rocker panel off on the driver's side. Like somebody said to me out there, they said, Rick, I knew that truck would be a can of worms because those trucks are always rusty. But this one's not that bad. Cab corners are actually really good, and they're original cab corners, so they're good. So we got the passenger side rocker panel all welded in. We got the floor where the rust was all taken care of on the passenger side. So now I'm going to be doing the driver's side one tomorrow, get that done, get that piece in the floor done. Then I'm going to flip the truck. I've got it sitting on a cart here. I actually flipped the truck over on its back side. So it's laying on its back side. Then I can stand there and I can do the 2 front cab mounts and get them done. And as you can see, we've been stripping her down the bare metal. We've been finding some hidden issues, you know. There's been a few areas here where someone has drilled a hole the old school way of doing it. They didn't have proper pullers or anything, so they drilled a hole, threaded a screw into it, and pulled it out with a claw hammer the best they could. And again, you know, if you ain't got the tools, you ain't got the material, there's nothing wrong with that. At least they're pulling the dent out. They're not just trying to just fill it full of mud like some people would. But you know, still, it's still we can get it a little better than that. We'll get in there with a uni spotter and a hammer and dolly, and we'll fix it better. So that's what's going on with Colby's truck. Now we'll slide our way out this door because there's been a lot going on here at the shop. Now, Dennis's '68 Chevelle. If you remember, we left off, we had the motor in it. The big block is sitting in there, all ready to go. And Darren's been out here working away on the wiring. He's put all the wiring back in where it should be factory. He's getting it all lined up in there. He's got all the wires ran down into the console for all the lights. We got the shifter all hooked up in there. We got the, you know, we got the clutch all up in there working good. And you know, Darren's around the, well, we better get around the other way because I can't get around that way. Oh, we'll come around here. 265 Chevy. I understand. I watched your video there and I saw that you're getting back into it. You kind of lost some motivation there for a while. I don't watch all your videos, but from what I got, you lost some motivation, and the YouTube Garage Gang got in there and wrote back to you and said, hey buddy, come on, don't be selling cars, get on with them. And good for you, 265 Chevy. I hope this car gives you a little inspiration, because you know what? Sometimes we all lose the enthusiasm, but don't ever think it's not in us. It just takes a little bit to get it back. So anyway, Darren has got the wires. You know, he's got everything neatly. Of course, this will all get loomed. You know, he's just left it, but he's got all the new plug sockets, got everything going on for the lights. So that's all good. So I think he's pretty much as far as he's going to go. Maybe he might be on this a little bit more tomorrow, but I think that's about as far as he can go until we start getting the rest of it done. Now here's our next thing that came in. This guy Rich dropped off this '60 Chev pickup. Beautiful little truck. Yeah. What am I looking at here? Yeah, no, it's a beautiful little truck. It's a, I lost track of what I was going to say here. But anyway, he brought it into us and he wants us to do full wiring on it. He's one of the smart ones. Now he bought this truck, I think he said he bought it 2 or 3 years ago. He hasn't done much to it. And he said, you know, I wanted to get you guys to wire it. He goes, you know, I've heard good things about you guys and I trust you and I want you to rewire my whole truck. And he said, you know, this year the major thing for him is do the wiring, and next year it's a new motor and tranny, and he's going to come back to us for that. He says. So you know, it's a beautiful little truck. He bought it. He drives it. He's not afraid to drive it. I don't think he drives it in the winter, like in the snow or anything, but he drives it every day. Like if it's raining or not, he's out there driving it. He says that's what they're meant for. He tows his boat down to the boat launch with it. He's got a boat he tows around with it. So that's pretty good. So he's having a good time with it. So we're going to get this one. We're going to start wiring this truck up. And you know, it's a wise thing, because you look at this truck, it's a beautiful truck. But he got under the dash and he took a look and he said, holy man, the wires, you know, these old vehicles have always had wires joined on here, there, everywhere. And nobody ever thinks to do the wiring. Because you know why? Everybody looks at their car and they says, oh no, don't worry about it. Everything works. It all works. It all works. But you know, you look at some of this wiring under some of these cars at these car shows, and I tell you, it's just a fire waiting to happen. But nobody thinks anything of it because they don't give a shit, because hey, it's more important to have a shiny paint job and fancy wheels than it is to have nice wiring that's not going to catch on fire, burn the car up, and also burn our shop down. You know, they don't give a shit about stuff like that. But Rich here, he's got the right idea. He's like, let's get rid of this old wiring and let's fix it up. So there it all is inside. He also wants us to put a different steering column in. We're going to yank this steering column out. We're either going to put an I Did It column or a Flaming River column in there. Where he wants something a little shorter. He wants something that's going to sit in another 2 or 3 inches. So we got to rip the column out, do that. Lose the tack. He doesn't like the tack. He says no need for the tack in there. And that's that. But very clean little truck. I mean, whoever obviously did the truck, you know, when it was done, obviously took it all apart. It wasn't like it was just, you know, to have it painted like that. You can tell that was taken completely apart. So that's what's going on there. So that's Darren's quite busy. He's got lots to keep him occupied with this and that. And then if we go over here, of course, there we go. See, there's my cart. The Pontiac's hidden there. So the Pontiac's all tucked away for a couple weeks till we get her back in the shop. Now here's our next one. Now we got a little Chevy pickup in. And this one, again, is full body and paint. Now, this customer's budget, by no means, he is not doing a full frame-off restoration. He came to me and he said, look, it looks like we're possibly going to need some new headlight caps. We're obviously going to need some new lower sections on the fender. The doors are pretty solid. Inside the doors, all the steps, if we can see in there, all the steps are solid. He doesn't want us to touch anything inside. It looks to me like inside that somebody either, I don't know if they sprayed it with a rattle can or what they did. It looks okay though, but somebody sprayed it like that, and he said, you know what, leave all that. He just wants the outside done, and this is not a truck. This is not a truck that we are going to strip down to bare metal and see what's there. We're going to strip down the areas where the rust is, and we're gonna cut all the rust out. But other than that, like, you know, for an example, like up in here, there's no rust going on. Just gonna sand it, and when we do the bodywork elsewhere, the whole thing will get primed at once. So, is it the way to do it when you're doing a vehicle? Honestly, it's not, because you don't know if there's any hidden issues under there that could occur later on. But his budget doesn't allow for that. We're going to take care of the rust where we see it, and we're going to hope, for his sake, that there is nothing else going on underneath it, and that's all you can do, and that's that. I mean, at the end of the day, you do what the customer wants. You explain to them, look, it's rusting on the lower part of the fender. We should just strip everything right down because, you know, you get into it and who knows what's going on. But the customer says, hey, I can't afford to do all that. I don't want to start getting involved in that. Next thing you know, you strip the whole thing down to bare metal, then the cab's coming off the frame, then the frame's getting done. And, you know, people can't afford to do that. That's just the way it is. So, you know, there's a lot of shops out there where they're like, hey, restoration shops are like, if we can't strip it right down, we don't want to do it. The reason is, they have good reasoning. Because if that truck starts to bubble, or car, or whatever they're working on, if it starts to bubble, starts to blister, elsewhere, where there was no blistering or bubbling at the time going on, well, guess what? Doesn't look good for them, does it? Because it always comes back to them, because they said, oh, you painted it, look at it blistering here. But they're like, it wasn't blistering when I did it back then, like it was fine there. So, there's pros and cons to doing this work for people like this. You just got to keep your fingers crossed that there ain't problems elsewhere. But you get them to sign off on it, and at the end of the day, to me, it's keeping another old vehicle on the road. It's making my customer happy. Maybe later on in life, he'll come back and he'll say, let's do the whole thing. But, you know, who knows where it'll go. Nowadays, anyway, it really doesn't matter too much in my own opinion, because you know what? Most of these old cars aren't being driven like they were back then. Most of these guys now, even if you took a car that was all rotted out and you cut all the rust out and you bundled the shit out of it, chances are it's going to last a lot longer now than it would back then, because these guys don't drive them out in the bad weather anymore. Most of these guys keep them in the garage and they just bring them out on sunny days. So there you go. It's not the right way to do it. It's not necessarily the wrong way. But anyway, for our friend Norm there, we're just going to do a cleanup on his Chevy pickup. But, you know, we will cut all the rust out that we see. Lower fenders, headlight caps, cab corners. That'll be cut out because it's rusting there. We'll straighten it out, and we'll do the best we can within his budget. We'll do what we can within his means, and that's what it's all about. Okay, guys, remember, it's always a good time at Old Time Garage. I almost screwed it up, and we'll see you next time.